This morning, the Israeli government released 198 terrorists from Israeli prisons, shortening their sentences as a goodwill gesture. Our correspondent Yoni Kempinski was present for the release. Shalom, Yoni.
Shalom.
So what's going on at the prison today?
We are here outside the Ofer prison. Many terrorists are still inside this prison over here, not far away from Yerushalayim, not far away from Ramallah. But around 200 prisoners are not in this prison anymore. They came out on buses towards the entrance to the Palestinian occupied areas over here behind me. There were PA officials that were there to greet them. They are greeting them now. Each and every prisoner, terrorist is getting off the bus, the Israeli security forces prison bus, going on to a civilian bus, no handcuffs. They get off the bus. Some of them bow down to recite some sort of prayer of gratitude. Then they go over to the bus, take their belongings, and from then they are free, and they get their little flags. Later on we see them with their heads outside the buses. This has become a regular picture of from a release of prisoners with the flags, and they're happy. We even seen a few of them pick up their hands with the signal of victory, and they're feeling victorious this day.
Now, what kind of prisoners were released?
Well, when they started getting off the buses, it was very noticeable that these are young, strong, healthy people, healthy terrorists, and big guys getting off the buses, going out for freedom, and not older people who you might think are just gonna go back to their families. It was very noticeable. All the people standing there, especially journalists, watching this happen, saw big people that were just being freed, and it wasn't such a simple thing to see. We spoke with Mark Regev, spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office, about this whole decision, the decision to release all these prisoners.
We're seeing today the release of some 200 Palestinian prisoners. It's not an easy thing for Israel. Ultimately, especially when you're releasing prisoners who've been guilty of direct involvement in terrorism, it's a difficult decision. But nevertheless, we've decided to go ahead, and the idea is to strengthen the more moderate and pragmatic elements on the Palestinian side. And we hope that this sort of release will serve to energize the process of reconciliation between Israelis and Palestinians. Obviously, in any democracy, you have different opinions, but I think there's a strong consensus in Israel behind reconciliation with the Palestinians, and this is a step that I hope will serve to strengthen the more moderate and pragmatic elements on the Palestinian side.
Was there any sort of protest against freeing terrorists?
Yes, there is a protest being held here, right near the road where the buses went on from the Ofer prison towards Ramallah. There is a protest here. The protest here is held by the families of Jewish prisoners who are held in prisons in Israel. They're saying, how could this happen that as a goodwill gesture, 200 prisoners, some of them actually killed Jews, how could it be that they are being freed while our loved ones are still in prison?
כמובן שהנגיעה שלנו היא נגיעה של ההורים לבן.
We're here as parents of a son who has served 6 out of 15 years for attempted murder. We are witnessing the release of 199 terrorists, among them 2 murderers and many others who with convictions parallel to our sons, and they are being freed after a very short time.
2 רוצחים בפועל, ורבים אחרים עם האשמות די מגבילות, שהם משתחררים אחרי מספר קצר מאוד של שנים. התחושה כשהאוטובוסים עברו הייתה קשה מאוד. כי אתה יודע שיושבים שם עשרות, מאות אפשר לומר, 199 רוצחים.
When the buses went by, the feeling was very difficult, because you know that there are dozens of murderers and potential murderers on the buses. No doubt some of them will return to their actions, while our children regret their actions, and if they are released, they
ריצו את עונשם, התחרטו, ואפילו יכולים להיות גורם ממתן בחברה שלנו בין הנוער ולמתן אותם, והם עדיין יושבים בכלא.
So what was the feeling among the police and journalists?
One thing's important to mention, there are these police officers here who are making sure that the protesters don't go on the road. It was a bit pushing and shoving, not a lot. But after everything calmed down and I stood next to the policemen, they too, talking between them, were very furious and very negative about what's going on here today, saying things like if you get bodies, you should release only bodies, and there's no reason to release prisoners for nothing. Also, during the release itself, it was evident on the faces of the journalists that this is not something so simple. One of the journalists even asked among the other journalists, how many, look at these strong, heavy weight guys being freed now. I wonder how many people, how many soldiers, IDF soldiers, it will take to re-apprehend this guy, this terrorist, later on.
Yoni Kempinski, thank you very much.
From outside of the Ofer prison near Jerusalem, this is Yoni Kempinski reporting for INN TV.